So part 4 of this training was about, or is about, why and how to interact with other Wikipedians. I would say interacting with other Wikipedians is just super important, and we use mainly the talk pages for that. So when nobody has written on your talk page yet, it will be empty, and when there's a link to it, it'll be a red link, so don't be scared of that. So as soon as somebody notices you, they might put something on your talk page. Like I often put there, welcome, if it's a new editor. So what happens is, so this is my talk page. I just, for example, this one here, somebody, now they've written to me about natural disaster, but I actually said to them, let's rather talk about that at the talk page of natural disaster. So the talk pages of people are more for general things. So for example, this person wrote on my talk page, and I actually know her, so I can say it's she. She said she's doing a training, and I've reverted some of the edits from her trainees and what's going on, and then I explained to her why I did that. And you can also get sort of criticism on your talk page. So here, somebody wrote to me that there's a copyright problem on water security, where I put content in that had copyright, and then, so this person is called Diana. I think she might, I assume it's a he, she. So I think they have maybe a bot. They pop up often. It's, yeah, but what happens is, if you get a message on your talk page, it's very good practice to respond to it, because if you don't respond, you might actually get, if you've made a mistake and somebody has pointed this mistake out and you don't respond, and then you make the same mistake over and over, they might give you a warning, and eventually they might even ban you if you don't respond and if you keep making those changes. So I'll show you one example. There's this person called Indian Venture, and it's a bit frustrating. Yeah, so this is somebody called Indian Venture, and this is their talk page. And so they got this welcome message at first, and then notifications. And let's say if I notice that this person is somehow making mistakes or so, I can give them a warning. And so anyone can do that to anyone. You know, I'm not an admin or anything. So I've got this thing here, and then I can, this is called Twinkle. I can click on warning, and then I can select caution or warning or final warning. So you wouldn't do that, but you might be at the receiving end of such warnings. So therefore, it's really important that you keep an eye on your talk page. And the best way, again, is to set it up in your preferences that you would receive an email when somebody writes on your talk page. So it's user profile. Yeah, actually, I should tell you that. So somewhere in here, yeah, it's this thing here called email options. You can select here and email me when a page or file on my watch list is changed. So your talk page will be on your watch list. And so if somebody writes on your talk page, you would get an email. And this is something we have to stress for people in the trainings as well, that they adjust the setting. Because again, the default is that you don't get any emails. So most new people, they do stuff, they get messages on their talk page, but they don't realize it. And then the other people get frustrated. So email me when there's edits on pages that are on my watch list. People can also get in touch directly. Occasionally I do that. So the way that's done, like in my case, this is my profile page. I've put here contact me, and then there is this, you can send me an email via Wikipedia like this. So this is a method of emailing another user. You would just put at the top there the person's username, and then you can actually email them. And when you email them, they will know your email address, but you don't know theirs. So it's up to them if they want to respond. And once they respond, then you've got your direct contact with it. So this is kind of used sparingly, emailing another user. Most Wikipedians prefer the communication to be in the open on these talk pages where everyone can see it. But I have to say, I sometimes try the direct email, especially when I have certain conflicts with people where I feel like I'm just not getting through, and you know what it's like, these things can sometimes spiral out of control for various reasons. So I've had every now and again some conflict, but also sometimes nice messages. So when I talk about interactions with other Wikipedians, there can be occasionally unpleasant interactions, just like with any online activities. But Wikipedia is trying to counteract that, and they've got this thing called Code of Conduct, which they've formalized it not so long ago, and it talks about the principles and the unacceptable behavior and how to report a problem. So it's what you would expect here under unacceptable behavior is personal attacks, offensive comments, and all that stuff. And we actually have a policy in Wikipedia specifically for new people. It's called Don't Bite the New People. Let me see if I don't bite the newcomers. So please don't bite the newcomers. So what has happened is that somebody is new, they join in, they make some mistakes, and then the experienced people will say, wow, what are you doing? What do you do? And that's not very nice, because most people act in good faith. We should assume good faith with newcomers. So this is the policy, how the experienced people should act. And you can imagine if they have to write up this thing, then it probably is something that has happened. So it's good to be aware of this, and here it gives some guidance on what to do if you feel you've been bitten or have been bitten. You have to have a little bit of a thick skin on Wikipedia, I have to admit, and it is a bit male-dominated. Apparently it's around 80% males, and so it's good that we come in as females to give a bit of balance. And I don't know, maybe females have a slightly different style sometimes and maybe get offended or pushed out or feel like this is too aggressive for me, I'm going. But please don't give up, and if you follow all the rules in general and you're just communicating nicely and regularly, then you'll be fine. And also, most of the time, our topics are not that controversial, so there's not so much, scope for conflict. I mean, imagine people who are editing topics that are controversial, like abortion, vaccinations, and sometimes there could be heated debates. Climate change used to be controversial on Wikipedia. So if you speak to experienced people, like 10 years ago, it wasn't pleasant. I think it's improved a lot now, and it's become more factual, and, people know it's happening. You can't deny it, and So, code of conduct. Very important is we don't want any edit wars. So if you put in here edit war, so this explains what an edit war is. It basically means, let's say you make a change, somebody else undoes the change, and then you make that same change again and they undo it again. That is called an edit war, and we don't want that. So the best thing is if you make a change and somebody undoes it, and if they don't explain to you why they've done it, that you write on the talk page of that article, and you can address that other person. For example, if I show you on the talk page of sustainability, I've had loads of discussions with a very friendly other Wikipedian, but we always tend to disagree on stuff. And so when we address each other, we can sort of ping the other person by, let me show you an example. Let's see. So this is the lots of discussions on the talk page of sustainability here. So there's another user that's called CJ Griffin, and I wrote here, hi CJ Griffin, regarding your recent change to the sentence, and we discuss why this person has made that change. And if that person hasn't got this article on their watch list, they might not see this. So therefore I've pinged them, and the pinging looks like this. These either like this with this command, so these wavy brackets and a U and a straight line and then that person's name, or this way. But if you forget how to do it, just go to a page, you'll see it used often, and you can see, so square brackets, user, colon. Yeah, so this is just a way of alerting someone to a discussion, and that person normally would get that email where they say you have been pinged on that page. Maybe go and have a look and see. So yeah, so by talking to each other, we can resolve change, differences in opinion, and we can avoid edit wars. The worst thing is if somebody just doesn't respond and keeps making the same mistake, perhaps over and over. And yeah, the ultimate thing, what can happen is that somebody can get banned. I've seen it happen. They get warnings and so on, and then if they don't react appropriately, eventually they can get banned. Theoretically, they could take up another login, but that there's ways for Wikipedia where they can see that the same IP address has tried to get another login and blah, blah. Yeah, that's all for part 4.